To avoid your and Lucas's friends? That too. She fidgets a little with her hair. Is he a senior? Her silence stretches so long. I half wonder whether she didn't hear me. I'm about to repeat my question when she says he was actually my TA. She rushes to add, but he's a PhD student and, only 3 years older. And that class is over, and he's really cute and has, a man bun, which is totally my weakness for some reason that I cannot even fathom, and she stops and gives me a pleading look, as if expecting me to tell her that it's not a big deal. I remain quiet. Pick up her phone. Vandy? Please, say something. I don't. Instead, I scroll down her Spotify app. I don't think I'm doing anything, unethical. Her voice is unusually high-pitched. I've always liked him. I approached him. It's not like I'm milking him for better grades or... I set the phone down just as the drums of Hot for Teacher by Van Halen fill the cabin. Oh my God. She turns to me, exhaling an outraged laugh. Vandy, I hate you so much. I pout. Is it because I cannot grade your macroeconomics homework? It's micro and she slaps me on the arm. Oh my God. I sigh dramatically and tap my chin. Maybe I should give Mrs. Seema a heads up. About what? Your insatiable hunger for older pedagogues, of course. She shouts a new peal of laughter, and by the time we make it to the party, the song has played twice, and we both have tears rolling from our eyes. Chapter 20. Some student athletes are able to have high paws, sport their little hearts out, and maintain fulfilling and exciting social calendars that yield solid lifelong friendships. I am not one of them. In high school, my catchphrase was sorry. I'm busy, to the point that a bunch of people in Josh's friend group gasped when I showed up for prom with him. I still remember the icy slither in my stomach when I overheard them from the bathroom stall. Something giggled like, did she not have to throw herself from a cliff tonight? I didn't take it personally. Josh was outgoing and kind and had lots of buddies I never bothered to get to know. They probably thought I was just another athlete with a god complex. And maybe they weren't wrong. At the time, I felt invincible, like all I had to do was put in the work and I'd reap the rewards. I felt in control, tungsten-coated. And the people making fun of my dedication to diving or studying or overachieving were never going to scratch my shell. But that armor is long gone, stripped off by time, injury, and the painful realization that deserving and obtaining are two vastly different things. When I trail after Penn inside the Shapiro's hallway and Kyle's eyes widen in shock, I feel a little tender. Scarvan? He booms over the generic pop music. Showing up for a party? He sounds like a children's librarian seeing Judy Blume show up unannounced, happy but nonetheless baffled. Is that a thing people call me? I murmur in Penn's ear. People? No. Kyle? I was Penro for half of sophomore year. Don't let him see that you don't like it. Or it'll stick forever and he'll use it at your eulogy, at which, yes, he'll manage to book a speaking engagement. He's that good. I take that advice to heart and produce my most unbothered smile. Hey, Kyle. Look at you. His eyes travel down my sweater and shorts. Haven't seen you in civilian clothes in years. She was observing the period of mourning that is customary for her religion. Penn says solemnly. Kyle lifts a hand to his nape, taken aback. Oh man, I'm sorry. Who did you, lose, if I may? No, you may not, Penn scolds. He winces, steals an unopened can of Budweiser from a passing freshman and presses it into my hand. Here, feel better, Scarvan. Don't laugh, Penn mutters in my ear, pinching my hip. Kyle, where's Luck? He and Hassan are talking about soccer, football, somewhere in the living room. It's so European in there. I had to get out before my dick turned into a bidet. See you later, Kai Jess. Penn takes my hand and drags me deeper into the house. There must be 30 or 40 people here, and while I'd probably be able to name only a fifth, most faces are familiar. All the swimmers came. She tells me with a smile, like it's a good thing. And it is, I guess. They're tight-knit. Hang out every preseason weekend. It's nice, just. There's Luck, she adds. pulling me through the throng of two hot bodies. He's on the couch with Rachel and a few others, fingers closed around a dark glass bottle, wholly focused on what Hassan is saying. He laughs and shakes his head, gesturing as he explains something. The memory of his hand on me is so visceral, my heart explodes in my stomach. Restroom, I tell Pen. Be right back. I'm just not in the mood for this. And by this, I mean the way Lucas looks at me, like he can see the little crumpled up piece of paper tucked in a corner of my head. The one where I wrote down my secrets. Like he could easily flatten it and read every last word. He's unnerving. And other things I'd rather not deal with. I wander into the kitchen. Lots of swimmers smile and say hi, but I can tell that they either can't fully place me, or they're surprised to see me. I sip on my beer, trying to avoid creating fanfiction of people's smallest facial expressions until I'm certain that they despise me. If only Googling whether someone hates me were a possibility. When was the last house party I went to? Maybe on my recruitment trip. When an upperclassman shoved a white claw in my hands and left me terrified, half that someone would snitch to the coaches that I'd drunk it, half that they'd still snitch to them. That I was too lame to drink. Bree finds me a minute later, and I wish her a happy birthday, clumsily returning her hug. I'm so happy you came, she tells me. Bella's devastated that Victoria won't. I'm so happy to be here, too. It's not true, but spending the next 20 minutes chatting with her helps. For the following 15, it's a swimmer who shadowed me in a chem class last year during his recruitment trip, but he's clearly looking to hook up with another guy on the team. And when it becomes obvious that I'm in their way, I whip out another restroom excuse. Upstairs, I find a small sunroom and slump on an IKEA pong chair, the exact copy of the one Miriam and I assembled last year, during a macabre comedy of errors that nearly became a fatal, mutual murder. Can't believe we managed to move past that one. I check my phone, and boy, it's a mistake. Her Karl-Heinz's social life must be as active as mine, because 4 minutes ago he posted the results of our latest German test. I know better than to check, but I do just that and ruin what's left of my day. Because it's AC. With a message. Scarlett, may I call you Charlotte? Let me know if you'd like to talk about ways to improve your performance. I'd love to see you succeed, and there is no shame in asking for help. Viel Glück. I cross my legs on pong and sink my face into my hands. Once upon a time, not so long ago, I didn't need help. I was a competent diver. I had a boyfriend and good grades. Once upon a time, I had shit under control. And then I must have pulled the wrong book from the Jangas Tower, because everything is collapsing and not a good night? I don't need to look up to know it's Lucas. But I do it anyway, hating the flesh that immediately hits my cheek. He fills the door frame in a way I struggle to comprehend. Ominous, backlit, the strong lines of his face destructively handsome. His muscular arms hold both jams, and he's once again barefoot, even though no such request was made of guests upon arrival. It's good, His eyebrow lifts, inquisitive, and I fall quiet. Pen was looking for you, he says. Oh! Are we leaving? Just checking in. His lips curve a little. She's protective of you. She has been lovely, really. Taking me under her wing. I'm wondering why Lucas came to find me, but as usual he's reading my mind. Just trying to escape being offered coke for the 3rd time. The doping officers would love that. I considered doing a line, just to give them something to talk about. I laugh quietly. Some of the tension relaxes. I was going to return downstairs in a minute. I'm tired, I think. MCAT'll do that to you. How does he? Did Pen tell you? You did. When? Oh. On Wednesday. The day of the touch. It's so barbaric. Yep. I feel like I could sleep for 100 hours. Hyperbole? I snort. Not this time. I figured. You think you did well? I think I'd rather carve out my liver like Prometheus than retake it, so I better have. But I doubt it. And then I got a C on my German test, I add, even though I shouldn't, because he didn't ask. I try to sound self-deprecating, like I don't care too much about my recently developed inability to function. Of course, he reads right through it. Lots of med schools don't have foreign language requirements, Scarlett. So unnervingly compelling, the way my name is distorted through his accent inside his mouth. It looks good, though. So does a near-perfect GPA. I don't have. Yes, you do. I pinch my lips. How do you even? I don't. But you're not the type to leave that to chance. I nod, wishing he left or came all the way in. It's confounding, the way he's just on the edge. He is confounding. Why did you do that? On Wednesday. As far as questions go, this is the Budweiser's more than mine. But once it floats between us, I realize how much I need to know. If he pretends not to understand what I mean, I will scream. Something wild and vicious will come out of my throat, and it'll have every single person in this house stop by the knife block and then stampede upstairs. It will be so liberating. Lucas, though, doesn't give me the satisfaction. Because you seemed touch-starved. I blink at him once, maybe twice, and lonely. He pushes away from the frame, finally inside. My brain hums, then blinks. A little hungry, too. He's not talking about food. I shake my head. Where's his filter? Was he born without one? How did Penn ever get used to this? You don't even know me. I don't. But no one else here does, either, which proves my point. He stops a few feet from me, and the room shrinks to half its original size. I'm at a bit of a bifurcation. I could play the outraged, derisive, who the fuck do you think you are? Card, and it would be wholly within my rights. As tired as I am, though, I just want to understand him. The way you're acting with me. What you did on Wednesday. Is it some kind of game? I can't figure out if you're hitting on me, or just... Is it because I didn't take you up on your offer when you emailed? Are you trying to convince me that I made a mistake? I have no interest in that. I must look skeptical because he continues. What I want from you requires enthusiastic consent, not convincing. I rub my thumb against my eyes, trying to untangle this mess. Are you trying to use me to get back at Penn for breaking up with you? He seems amused. It would be a very ineffective way to go about it, since she's the one who first suggested we do this. Is it an ego thing then? Am I the first person to ever reject you? I know that with all the medals and the way you look, but the thing is, not every girl is attracted to you. You are, though. This time, an affronted gasp makes its way out of me. Come on. His smile is faint. You're always flushing or fidgeting. You either do your best to not look at me, or you stare. I'm just a generally awkward person who... You are. You're also uncomfortable with men. This, though, is different. It doesn't take a stratospheric ego to figure it out, not when your face is. You're not good at hiding anything, Scarlett. I could tell when you didn't know I existed, and I could tell when you became aware of me. My stomach sinks, and I want to deny it so bad, my throat itches. Instead, I bury my face in my hands and pretend that this, the last 2 weeks, the last 2 years, didn't happen. I'm going to fall asleep here, cradled within Pong's loving embrace, and wake up as a freshman on the day of the NCAA finals. A redo. I won't mess up that inward, get those unmanageable curtain bangs, or ever acknowledge the existence of Lucas Blomqvist, who's currently taking my wrists and pulling my hands down. He kneels in front of me, still managing to be imposing. I'm not a thin-boned, bird-like creature, but his hands swallow my entire forearms, and liquid heat crawls up my spine. It gets worse when he transfers his hold to the right, and the knuckle of his free index finger slides to tilt up my chin, forcing me to meet his eyes. I expect triumph, maybe some gloating. Not a genuinely puzzled, why are you embarrassed about this? I groan. Maybe I just don't want to shovel more fuel into some guy's already overactive hubris furnace? That's not it. I squeeze my eyes shut. It's just never happened to me. What has never happened? I swallow. This whole conversation is so bearing. I've just never been attracted to someone that nearly everyone else in the universe seems to be attracted to. You think I care whether people are attracted to me? He sounds almost offended at the idea. But, yes, why would I? Because... No, seriously. His accent seems to be a little thicker. Why would I care about everyone in the universe being attracted to me? What would I get from that? The certainty that the sack of skin and meat you're saddled with as you walk God's green earth is pleasing to them, and that they will. I don't know, have sex with you if you want? His palm shifts upward, gripping the side of my face, the hinge of my jaw. His thumb rests right below my lower lip. Come on, Scarlett. His mouth twitches. You know who I want to have sex with. His low voice makes my entire body spark and brooks no misunderstanding. Look at you. His expression softens to something almost tender. Is it so hard to believe that I saw you? And thought that you needed touching? I cannot breathe. How? I have no idea. But I saw you, and you made sense to me. And the more I looked, the more I knew how hard you work. How it paid off until it didn't. How little you like chaos. You want to maintain control in every aspect of your life, and yet you are unraveling. And that was before I knew that you're kinky as shit. The pad of his thumb presses against my bottom lip, a shock of heat to my system. I inhale sandalwood and chlorine and beer flooding my lungs and my brain. You know what fucks with my head? It must be a rhetorical question, because he continues, you're at ease with me. I don't think you realize it, but you tend to move closer when others are around. Sometimes you look to me. For reassurance, maybe. And we're alone right now, and there are no signs of distress, and at some point you chose to trust me, and you get why that gets me going so hard, right? His voice is a slow roll that starts in his chest, travels through our limbs, ends in the red of my cheeks, the spill between my legs. For people like me. Like him, like us, trust is the real currency. I nod, hazy. Think fuck, he exhales, and my lips part against his thumb without meaning to. It gives him an idea, or maybe it was his plan all along. His finger slips inside, hooks just behind my teeth, hot and big and salty over the flat of my tongue. I let out a choked gasp and feel it inside me, electric, syrupy. Lucas could do whatever he wants to me, and I'd welcome it. Push the pad of his thumb deeper inside my mouth. Stand, undo his belt and his pants, grab the back of my head and he pulls back. And it's like the first dive of every morning practice, freezing water slapping against my skin, jerking me awake. He stands and walks away, leaning against the door frame. His arms fold on his chest. Casual, unaffected. I was, maybe still am, ready to do pretty unspeakable things for him. In an open room. With 30 to 40 people downstairs. If only he were to ask. The shame eats at the arousal in my belly. I guess I'm that desperate. I guess I could walk myself into interstate traffic. Okay. Lucas's voice snaps me out of my self-flagellating party. He looks authoritative. Making decisions. Laying out timelines. We have to. This is what we're going to do. You have two options. Say nothing, and I won't ever bring up anything like this again. You and I meet at Avery. We work together on Olive's project, whatever you want. But this conversation and the ones before never happened. Penn never got drunk, never told me about you. I never noticed you. I never touched you. Anything like this, he said. This. So vague. I understand exactly what he's talking about. The alternative? I ask, surprised at how firm my voice is. Say the word, and his jaw tightens. I marvel at the play of lights on the hollow of his cheekbones. We're going to find a time and place to meet. It's a subtle shift. But his fist tightens under the elbow, knuckles bleeding white. It's a sign, a promise. Goosebumps chill my skin. And we're going to negotiate. He gives me all the time I need to reply. And then some. He slouches, lazy, composed, and I'm struck by how much I want to say something, by how difficult it is. I can't think clearly around the pounding of my heart. Around the odd mix of fear of making a mistake, fear of not making a mistake, and just pure fear lodged behind my sternum. He gives me all the time I need, and when I stare in helpless silence, he's true to his word. There is a moment of twitching tension, but it fades immediately. His smile is warm. I'll see you around, Scarlett. Then he's gone, padding away barefoot. As confident as when he arrived. I, however, am a coward. I beat myself up about it for 5 minutes, and it takes me 10 more to collect myself enough to return downstairs. The lights have dimmed. And the party has gathered in the living room, around a sheet cake decorated with too many lit candles. The thought process behind it, someone is asking. I dunno, since Bree's turning 22 and Bella's turning 22. You put 44 candles on their cake? That's just not how it goddamn works, Devin. Kyle pats Devin on the back. Come on, Dale, let the kid show off his math. Is it time to cut into that amazing cake yet? A girl next to me yells. There aren't enough seats for everybody. And Penn is perched on one of Lucas's legs, leaning forward as she chats with Rachel. Behind, Lucas is once again talking with Hassan. It's like he never left. Stupid, I tell myself. Stupid, stupid. Stupid, I tell myself. Stupid, stupid. Stupid. There's actually a surprise we've been working on for a while. Devin clears out some space at the center of the room and looks at Kyle, whose phone is at the ready. We have a choreography for you, Dale declares. The room fills, cheers, groans, whistles, claps. Bree shoots to her feet, almost flipping the cake over. Oh my god, is it BTS? More excited screams. Can't wait for when Coach asks me how they pulled a quad and are out for the season, Lucas says. Just don't drag BTS into this, Hassan suggests. Say they were giving a lap dance. Shut up. You losers, Penn commands. This is gonna be the best. Thank you, Penn. Dale salutes her. For your support and for helping us refine this over countless sessions. You're a true friend. Unlike your boyfriend and his boyfriend. You guys, it was my pleasure. Lucas and Hassan exchange amused headshakes, and I'm always on the sidelines, always detached from what's happening around me. I never mind. But tonight, watching Lucas laugh with others, something greedy opens up in my stomach. A little hungry, too, he said upstairs. But I think it's more than a little. I think I might be ravenous. The music starts, and so do some questionable body rolls. Laughter. Nearly everyone takes their phones out, and I do the same. Except I'm not filming. I'm not even watching. Instead, I pull up an old email, type 3 words, and hit reply. When and where? Devin and Dale gyrate their hips. Lucas's phone lights up on the coffee table. I see him glance at it once, distractedly. Then again when the message registers. He doesn't even have to search the crowd. His eyes lift up to meet mine, and when he nods, I finally manage a true, genuine smile. Chapter 21. Monday mornings at the pool are usually relaxed, full of athletes slowly rebooting after their day off. This Monday morning, however, the atmosphere around the aquatic center is thicker than the fog. Cuts for the swim team, Bree tells me, pale face scrunched together as she wraps tape around her wrist. They're finalizing the roster. Already. Creeps up on me every year, too. In the locker room, the swimmers' cheerfulness feels forced, and I wonder how they cope. Am I the only one who cries in the shower and can never find enough air to properly breathe? And opens the fridge hoping to discover a magic portal leading to a Narnia-like society in which competitive sports have been banned? German, too. On my way to breakfast, I hear Scarlett. A minute? It's Lucas, of course it is. No one else calls me by my name. I pause in the Avery lobby and try not to blush or to remember how many times I checked my phone, email, and physical mailbox yesterday, waiting for him to contact me. Miriam asked me if I was high on glue, which led to a 20-minute fight over whether the USA Anti-Doping Agency would find that objectionable. I could pretend that in the 24 hours he spent ignoring me I changed my mind, but it would probably just give him a chuckle. Sure. I walk over. Take in his hair, still wet from practice. The freckles hugging his nose and cheekbones. The compression shirt he's wearing does great things for his thick arms, and even more for his chest. Everything okay? Have you met Johan? He points at the guy next to him, whom I recognize as the other Swede. He looks like he could be Lucas's cousin, just blonde. I'm Scarlett, nice to meet you. I smile and hold out my hand, which he takes, even as he says, it's also very nice to see you, but we already met. Shit. Oh, right, of course I. Don't take it personally, Johan. She didn't remember meeting me, either. Lucas's smile, somewhere between teasing and tender, has me flushing. He and Johan have a brief Swedish conversation that ends with Johan nodding and then smiling at me like we're more than one no. Two-time acquaintances. Like he knows things about me. I look up at them, neck craning. They could be talking about the stock market economies, their favorite dactylic pentameters. Or the size of my boobs. I have no way of telling. Did I hear the word troll? What was that? I ask Lucas after Johan leaves. He asked me if we're together. Does he know Lucas broke up with Penn? And what did you say? The truth. Which is? I'm beginning to suspect that a conversation is over when Lucas Blomqvist decides he's had enough, because he doesn't reply. Instead, he reaches into his pocket and hands me a sheet of paper, folded once and then again. I open it out and, oh my God, cheeks on fire, I hug it to my chest, where my heart is racing against my ribs. You know what that is? He asks casually, like he's talking about calculating a molecular orbital and not. By luck. A small group of swimmers walks by us. See you later, sweetie, another adds, trailing behind them. Great job today, everyone, Lucas says. Then, still looking at his teammates, but lower, breathe, Scarlett. I'm trying. But it's not easy. We're going to need to work on this, he says. On W what? I scrape out. Your tendency to let your vital organs shut down whenever something unexpected happens. Your neurons can only take so many anoxic events. We're in the middle of the lobby of our place of employment. Lucas's voice is low and warm. And in my hand there is a list of the filthiest things two people can do to each other. Do you know what that is? He repeats, patient. I nod, forcing myself to inhale deeply. Here, brain. Have some oxygen and glucose and porn? I am familiar, yes. It just caught me by surprise. And it's not my fault if the first thing I read on it was come play. It's a dramatic sea change, from talking about sex in the vaguest of terms to holding a piece of paper that proudly proclaims DDLG. Ever used one of these? Not really. Truthfully. I researched them. And I read them through. And I debated showing them to Josh. And then I realized someone who balked at the idea of nipple clamps would probably not enjoy reading a BDSM checklist that included stuff like anal fisting, cross-mounting, and chastity gear. No. Are you okay with using it now? Yes, I am. Very 50 Shades, Penn would say with a smirk. Penn. God. Will sober Penn still be okay with this? Text me when you're done filling it in, he says. All business. What about yours? I'm done with mine. Can I see it? One of those crooked smiles. Are you trying to copy my homework? Well, it would help. And it would save you the ordeal of having to admit to your own wants, wouldn't it? He's absolutely right. And I am mortified that I even asked. Okay. Thank you for giving this to me. I'll let you know when I'm done. I make to leave, but a finger slides in the belt loop of my jeans and pulls me back. Close. Hey, he says, soft. I need to know what you need, Scarlett. And whether I can provide it for you. It should be me. What if? Listen. His thumb and forefinger find my chin and lift it. His eyes are a level, impossibly pretty blue. I spent the last few years with someone who had no interest in any of this and have lots of experience with mismatched sex drives. I can handle you not wanting the same things as I do. And I'll never judge you for what you're into. Fuck, some of the things that I want. His laugh is an unamused huff. His hand runs through his hair, tousling it a little. It occurs to me that maybe it's hard for him, too, coming clean about this. That we both have some baggage when it comes to being honest about what turns us on. And more importantly, that I want to know everything about his desires, and it's natural for him to want the same. Okay, my smile is small, but sincere. I'll do it as soon as possible. Take your time. Think it through. I snort. I feel like the weak link in a group project. Last to do her part. That's not incorrect. I poke at him. My index finger finds the side of his stomach. And for a moment I cannot process the everything of what I'm feeling. The solid muscle of his obliques, the lack of yield, the shock of warmth. Because he may have touched me. But I never touched him before. And he knows that, too, because the following silence stretches long, as thick as molasses. "How's German going?" he asks quietly. I let my head hang low. Listen to his soft, deep chuckle. "About as well as my other classes. I'm not good at this stuff." "What stuff?" I gesture vaguely. Pronouncing Foucault? Diving into the marketplace of ideas? Telling apart different waves of feminism? Opining. I shrug. Textual analysis is way harder than logarithmic differentiation. He stares down at me like I'm a god. Like I'm cute? I'm not a fan of that patronizing look. At least I shouldn't be. All messed up. Yep, that's me. Anything I can do? He offers. I don't know. Do you speak German? Despite what you Americans believe, Europe is not a single country where everyone speaks. I quietly flip him off, and he laughs like I handed him the exact thing he wanted. Then there's another silence, smaller, lighter, until he says, "You'll text me then." Not a question, but I nod, feeling a warm, pulsating sort of anticipation spread through me. One that has as much to do with the list as with. I'm not sure. Go, Scarlett. You need to eat breakfast. Right. Yep. Did I tell him where I was heading? Doesn't matter. I feel the heft of his eyes on me all the way to the dining hall, even after it becomes a physical impossibility. My first synchro practice is that afternoon. I try to play it cool. Like it's not a big deal, but last year, while Penn and Victoria placed 6th at the Pac 12 finals, I was home, probably trimming my toenails. Binge-watching the Great British Bake Off was likely part of it, too. I'm the new kid here, and I'm painfully aware of it as I stand between Penn, Coach Seema, and 2 volunteer coaches who I really wish had not decided to stick around to witness my unavoidable screw-ups. I bet they wish the same, especially 30 minutes and 50 takeoffs later. After Penn and I have been working on matching the simplest of hurdles without the blippiest trace of success. It doesn't help that we've started with Dryland, and that we cannot look at the 4th portable board without seeing Victoria and her sheared ligaments. I know she asked for space. And I get not wanting to be inundated by condolences while still mourning the loss of her sport. But I can't help wishing she were here to make some snide comments on the futility of carbon-based life forms. Penn, Coach Seema says between disapproving sighs, "You're too fast. Your hurdle is about 5 inches too high and ugly to boot. Vandy, you're too slow." Coach rubs his temple. "I'm not even sure what's wrong with your technique. Let's say everything and just start from scratch, okay? Take 10, you too. Have some water. Think about your ancestors and ask yourself whether they'd be proud of your performance today." Synchro is a scary, 3-headed beast. Pairs aren't scored just on the success of the individual dives, but also on how well they harmonize. There are so many ways to lose points, and Penn seems to be thinking the same. We sit side by side on the deck, heads bent over our water bottles, and I want to apologize to her. I want to tell her that I'm a mess and it's my fault. That I'm sorry I'm not Victoria, and I'll try harder, and to please not hate me. But she's silent, and I'm silent too. I try not to stare as she takes out her phone and begins tapping at it, wondering if she's mad at me, wondering if. The first few notes of Hot for Teacher fill the air. My snort is so sudden, I choke on my sip of water. Everyone turns to give us curious looks. But Penn's eyes are fixed on me, and after a couple of seconds, we're laughing like we haven't just been laid into within an inch of our lives. Coach is not amused, but the weight in my chest feels 1,000 pounds lighter. Chapter 22. It takes me 2 days to go through the list. I'd love to say that it's because some of the items are things I've never heard of and require a large amount of research, but there are only a handful I'm not already familiar with. I may have to spend some time on Google to figure out what shrimping is and come away with no more clarity than when I started, but I've known what a Sibian is since I figured out how to use the Encone Edo tab on my browser. Sexual deviant, and all that. The reason I spend so long on each item is that they require an almost ridiculous amount of introspection. I've never been in the position to be fully sincere about my fantasies, and as a result I don't yet know what they are. My sex life with Josh was great. He made sure I had all the orgasms I could ever want, helped me feel beautiful and sexy, and we laughed a lot. That time I was too mortified to tell him outright that I was on my period and used so many euphemisms, he thought I had terminal cancer. When he accidentally got Minions novelty condoms. His harrowing screech of pain after I tried to give him a handjob seconds after hand sanitizing. That kind of stuff. But when I asked him to be rougher with me, he suggested that I bring it up in therapy and get my psychologist's take on whether it's a good idea or, something edible that'll fuck you up for the next decade. After that, I tried to pretend I didn't have certain desires, and he half-heartedly slapped my butt a couple of times. So it takes 48 hours, but on Wednesday night, I text Lucas, done. And, at last, save his name on my phone. We decide to meet up that night. Then the following morning. Then the following night. Every time, he cancels at the last minute. The only explanation, something urgent. I see him at practice, which means that he's not ill, injured, or expelled from Stanford for crimes against public decency. I'm starting to suspect he's changed his mind, and then he skips our meeting with Zach and Dr. Smith. He won't be joining us, she tells me. He mentions something about captain stuff? Not crunch, sadly. God, I haven't had those in a while. She chews her lower lip for a moment, writes by Captain Crunch on one of her post-its, and then proceeds to slay at cancer biology nonstop for 45 minutes. I don't hear from Lucas until Friday night, after a difficult practice that leaves me in a bad mood. Penn and I are alone in the locker room, and I've been trying to untangle my hair for so long, my entire upper body aches. Any plans for tonight? She asks. I shake my head, then say I have these exercises that my therapist is making me do. Oh! Her eyes catch mine in the mirror. She's putting on foundation, which is an unusual post-practice level of grooming. For what? My most ingrate children. Her brow knits in confusion, so I sigh. My inward dives. Her eyes widen in understanding. I haven't discussed my issues with anyone on the team, but Penn is my synchro partner, and she must have noticed that we haven't practiced a single inward dive. I don't mind. I know she gets it, the way our brains cannot help hiccuping. What are the exercises like? Visualization, mostly. The purpose is to rewire my brain. Overwrite the negative feelings I automatically associate with certain dives with more neutral ones. All I need is the most basic, shittiest inward dive. The bar is so low, it's underground with the turnips. Penn puts down her brush. Her hand reaches out to squeeze mine, and I love that she doesn't say shit like you can do it. Believe in yourself. It'll be a piece of cake. Positive thinking. She's just quietly there for me. Green eyes full of understanding and a compassion that's not pity, and that's all I need. I squeeze back. There's something in my throat, and I have to swallow past it before asking, what about you? Any plans? Actually, her lips twitch. I'm meeting hot teacher. He's making dinner for me. Vandy, please regain control of your jaw. I try. It's not easy. How was last weekend? Good. Great. We chatted. Talked about our lives. We made out. You know, that kind of stuff. I half gasp, half laugh, delighted. You made out. Way to focus on the one single non-PG item on my list. But she's giggling, clearly elated. We both lean our shoulders against the mirror, facing each other. I really like being with him, she tells me, low, serious. Her smile dims a little. But she's not sad. I think it was a good choice, breaking up with Lucas. It's my turn to reach for her hand. I'm so glad you're happy. When her phone rings, she frantically gathers her stuff and stops for a short hug, and then she disappears in a burst of energy that's so her. I cannot stop smiling even after she's gone. And, once again, I have not told her about Lucas and me. I tried it on Monday with the list burning in the pocket of my shorts. On Wednesday, when we lingered in front of Avery and exchanged high school diving stories. This morning at breakfast, after I helped her out with Argo homework while she read through my English essay. Tell her. I ordered myself. But tell her what? That Lucas and I might be exchanging A4 papers? In order to maybe initiate a sexual relationship, if we are compatible, if it works with our schedules. If he hasn't changed his mind, if he doesn't find someone else? It's all so hypothetical. Talking about it so early in the process just seems like courting trouble. I head home, wondering whether Miriam will do her usual bit if she catches me mid visualization exercise, cut 2 cucumber slices, and slap them over my closed eyes. The text I receive stops me in the middle of the sidewalk on Stamford Way. Free? It's Lucas. My pulse trips, but quickly steadies. I tilt my head and type. Scarlett, in Sweden, when you text. Do they charge you by the word? Lucas, there's an emoji surcharge, but I'll make an exception for you. Lucas. I laugh out loud, a yappy sound that has me glancing around to make sure no one noticed. Lucas, are you free tonight, Scarlett Vandermeer? Scarlett, for someone with proper grammar? Always. Lucas, meet me at Green in 10. Why does he want to meet in the library? Is this for Dr. Smith's project? Am I misunderstanding? When I arrive, he's already leaning against the wall by the elevator, eyes closed, thick neck, incongruous freckles. He's wearing black joggers and a red t-shirt, once again an almost exact replica of the outfit I have on, and he looks tired. Something that lives between curiosity and admiration has me stopping to observe him, and the energy that flows in his surroundings. That's the guy who won the Olympics, the swimmer? A boy whispers to a friend. 3 girls walk past him in the opposite direction, sneaking glances that become progressively less covert. I'd love an NCAA title or 2, let alone the Olympics. But I don't think I envy this facet of Lucas's success. Being singled out. Generic appreciation from people who remember that swimming exists once every 4 years. Hey, I say. His eyes open slowly, as though whirring to life. For a moment he looks so exhausted, my instinct is to scream, go home, to bed right now. Then his lips curve, just because I am here, and my heart beats in my belly. Come on. I follow him in silence to a study room. It doesn't provide much privacy, not with glass walls. They're all built like that, because, I assume, librarians have graduate degrees and better things to do than walk into teenagers groping each other. Or cleaning up used condoms. I linger next to a chair, not yet taking a seat. Watch Lucas pull a folded piece of paper out of his backpack, toss it over the table in my direction, and stand kitty corner from me. I feel, instantly, very hot. Or cold. Why the library? I ask. Eyes fixed on the paper. We could go to my place, but I figured you wouldn't want Kyle and Hassan overhearing. I nod, trying to come to terms with the fact that his list is right there. I could reach out and pick it up and no. Scarlett. Lucas leans forward, clearly amused. We talked about this. About what? You need to breathe. I inhale sharply. Fill my lungs. Right, yes. I'm fine. What should I? Before we start, I'd like to know something. I sneak another glance at the folded paper. Yes. What happened with your father? My eyes bounce to his. I feel like he grabbed me by the neck without warning. My father? How is this relevant? An atrocious possibility occurs to me. Please, don't tell me that you're looking for some deep-seated past trauma to explain what I like. His eyebrow arches. I think you can give me a little more credit than that. Then why? You don't have to tell me. It's not a deal breaker. But you clearly have triggers, and understanding what happened might help me steer away. Lucas doesn't need the whole story for that. But he and I have already been so open with each other, I don't mind him knowing. And I have no reason to be embarrassed. So I square my shoulders, hold his eyes, and try to be as factual as possible. Over the years, my dad became increasingly abusive of both me and my stepmother. By the end, he was tracking all our movements, monitoring our interactions, isolating us from the rest of the world and from each other. He'd belittle us, criticize us, yell for no reason. He was financially controlling. I'm not sure how it got so bad, only that it was gradual. Barb and I were both very good at pretending that it was all normal and that Dad was just having a string of bad days. Then, when I was 13, Barb picked me up from school. I began crying and begging her to not take me home, and she decided to put an end to it. She left Dad, managed to get custody, put us both in therapy. Years of terror, condensed into a few dozen words. Years in which my sole happy place was diving. I can usually work through my triggers. I don't like raised voices, but it's not a hard limit. And I actually like being handled roughly. Control, discipline, as long as it's within specific contexts. I can tell from his eyes that he understands what I mean. It makes sense in his gut as much as in mine. The one thing Dad did, I look away. Degradation kink is a thing, and I'm never going to judge, but if you want to call me ugly, or disgusting, or worthless, Jesus, Scarlett, then we're probably not going to be able to. Hey, he lifts my chin. Look at me. I want to say, except. I lowered my gaze to my feet without realizing it. I'm not interested in demeaning you in any way. Okay. In his eyes I find no disappointment, just a promise. He doesn't let go until I nod. And once I'm free, I swallow. Take my phone out of my pocket. Gently, hoping he won't notice my trembling hands, I pop its case off. When he sees the piece of paper lodged inside, he smiles faintly. Guarding it closely, huh? I drop it on the table, next to his. I'm not sure how to explain the sticky toe curling. Happiness creating heat that spreads through my limbs whenever I think about the list being there. All my secrets. All his questions. The potential for this improbable, dizzying, sharp thing between us, never too far from my body. How do you want to do this? I ask, a little too breathless to sound businesslike. Do you want to put them next to each other and compare, or? He reaches out and grabs mine, stretching it out before I'm even done formulating the thought, eyes scanning horizontally across the page. There's nothing jerky or hurried about his movements, but watching him feels like a natural disaster, something unstoppable that I'm allowed to witness, but not interfere with. I rock on my heels as he reads, the little room shrinking around us. The air swelters as hot as my cheeks. Pick his list up, I tell myself, and read it, even on the playing field. But I can't. It's the same brand of blood-curdling, muscle-freezing paralysis that seizes me when I attempt an inward dive. What if it doesn't work? What if I mess up again? What if I'm being given a chance and I squander it? What if I'm not good enough? I fidget with my hair. I experimented a bit with my ex, but haven't done much of this stuff. He knows. There is a column on the sheet dedicated to that, which I filled. I completed my assignment. Yet I power through. There are a couple of things that, they depend on how you want to approach them. I put asterisks next to them. He lowers the paper and stares at me from over it, unsettlingly undecipherable. I shift on my feet. And I couldn't understand what. I don't get to finish that sentence. Because Lucas Blomqvist takes a long step, pushes me into the wall, and kisses me. Chapter 23. I first feel it in my shoulder blades, suddenly pressed against the wall with too much strength. The back of my head could have suffered the same fate, but Lucas's hand cushioned the impact, one palm wrapped against my nape as the other curls around my jaw. It starts simple enough, lips crushed together, his chest as flush to me as it can physically be, given the differences in our heights. When his tongue brushes against mine, there's an explosion at the base of my spine. Tentative, testing, gentle. Then, instantly, not at all. All at once it's filthy. Deep. Sharp. Lucas's lips are hot. His tongue is hot. His fingers, framing my face, are hot. My entire body is on fire. He hears the catch of my breath and takes advantage of it, tilting my head farther, an impossible angle that allows him to control the kiss, to lick inside my mouth and leave no place untouched. It's all-consuming. My mind whites out. I loop my arms around his neck, fuzzy-brained and blurry-edged, and he finds a way to pull me even closer. He rumbles something, but it's not in English. So I focus on his hand traveling down my backbone, palm wide, like he wants to use all of it to feel me, won't miss a single inch of flesh. It reaches the place where the hem of my shirt brushes against my lower back, gently lifts it, and his skin finally touches mine. I fist my nails in his shoulder. A whiny sound crawls up my throat. A needy grunt punches out of his. We breathe fast and loud in each other's mouths, and his grip shifts to my hip, rough and demanding, slipping under the waistband of my joggers until noise seeps in from the outside. A cart being pulled. Stacks of books falling. Hushed apologies. We both freeze, coil-muscled. Long enough to regain some common sense. Or at least, for me to do that. I unwind my arms from his shoulders, inching back against the wall to put space between us. Lucas seems to have a harder time letting go. Even after his hands leave my waist and my cheeks, he's still unwilling to pull away. He remains there, hulking into me. A cage of bone and muscles and hungry eyes, fists white-knuckled against the wall on either side of my head. His tattoos clench and release. He's trying to get himself under control, but he's not quite there. I reach up to touch the freckles that fill the hollow under his cheekbone, and he exhales a slow laugh, no more than a puff of breath against my temple, stymied and hot. A smile builds inside me in response, and I lift my chin to kiss him again. This time it's a slow thing, even as his heart races against my skin. His lips slip against mine, quiet, almost sweet. And my hand closes in the fabric of his shirt, a silent, reassuring I'm here, I've got you. I savor his face buried in my neck, the tickle of his stubble, the rough, throaty groan as he inhales my skin. His warmth and scent and sheer size, pressing into me. Odd, how this started out frenzied and wild, but evolved into something languid. Just easy. We need to stop, I say evenly, running a hand through the short hair at the back of his head. When he draws away, his eyes are open and earnest. He pulls a chair back, hair a little tousled. It's an invitation to sit down and give him space. You okay? I ask when we're both at the table. His nod is quick. When I smile, he smiles back. Tense, maybe, but sincere. Do I have to read your list? I ask, eyeing the still-folded sheet. Can we just skip that part? His eyebrows knit. No, I don't have to read it. No, you cannot skip it. Says who? The rules. I tilt my head. Who made the rules? Me. Tilt it more. I think you're okay with that, Scarlett, he says. Tilt it more. Hard for me to buy that you don't like me taking charge. Given what I just read. His words are calm, but my cheeks glow. He's right. In a sense, he might know me better than anyone in the entire world. I'm not sure how to deal with that. You know I'm not some kind of pushover, right? This is about sex. I'm not looking for some kind of 24/7 arrangement. His eyes harden. Scarlett, you need to read my list. Because the only way we can do this in a healthy and sane way is if we both know what to expect. His stare is measuring. What are you afraid of? That there will be things I want and you don't want. And I'll ask you to do them anyway. I glance away. The opposite then. He sighs, and it's tender, the way his fingers move across the table, knuckles brushing my own. An electric spark, liquid, searing, travels through my nerve endings. I'm convinced he'll take my hand, but he pulls back almost immediately. A wise move, all things considered. Maybe we shouldn't be left alone at all. He leans back in his chair, the line of his shoulders once again uncompromising. Scarlett, you. Lucas's phone rings. He checks the caller ID and tilts his head back with a muttered, exhausted word. Once again, not English. Are you okay? He mutes the call. I have to go. Oh! A mix of disappointment and relief flickers in my stomach. On the one hand, respite. On the other, I'm not sure I want to not be with him right now. Anything I can do? He shakes his head, massaging his left eye with the heel of his hand. 18 people were cut from the team this week. 18? I know, it's a fucking mess. Some of the guys were preferred walk-ons and are not happy about it. The coaches are the bad guys, so they've been talking to us to figure out options. All his cancellations. Captain stuff. I'm sorry. He nods and leans forward, elbow on the table. Listen, keep my list. You can take your time, but you're going to have to read it before we. He doesn't finish. I understand. Anyway. Okay. I don't know when the Cuts shit show will clear up, but I need you to know two things. I force myself not to squirm under his gaze. You say stop. I stop. I nod. Nice of him to remind me that. No, Scarlett. There's going to be some trial and error for sure, but I need you to understand that it doesn't matter how or when. You say stop. I stop. My mouth is dry. Repeat it back to me, he orders. I may have forgotten how to breathe, but still manage to say, when I say stop, you stop. He nods, pleased. Do you want another safe word? I think about it, then shake my head. I know safe words tend to be unique, and this may not be best practice, but I'm confident that I won't say stop unless that's what I want from him. What's the second thing? I ask, hiding my trembling hands in my lap. He exhales a small laugh and stands, grip tightening around the strap of his backpack. The second thing is that I've read your list. And there is not a single thing you want that I don't want more. He leans into me for a kiss that's at once chaste and clinging. By the time he pulls away, I'm off balance, confounded by his heat and his smell. No need to repeat this one to me. I watch him walk away. Something occurs to me only when his hand closes around the door handle. Lucas? He turns. What about Pen? His expression is blank. What about Pen? Will she mind? You do have a terrible memory. His eyebrow lifts, amused. Pen and I are no longer together. I know, but she's also my friend. I need to be sure that she's okay with this. I need her to know that I'm not trying to. This is going to be just sex. I'm not trying to start a serious relationship with my friend's ex. For a moment, I think he will protest. But right as my heart is about to sink, his face an inscrutable mask, he promises, I'll take care of it. It's not until much, much later that night, after dinner, and my mental exercises, and 2 hours spent watching one of those political thriller movies that only middle-aged Republican men and Miriam seem to truly enjoy, that I allow myself to think about Lucas's list again. I lie in my bed, the mint of the toothpaste sweet in my mouth, the day's exhaustion dragging me into sleep, and, it's nice, being too tired to work myself up to a panic. Shaking the piece of paper open and reading through Lucas's sharp, neat handwriting doesn't seem like a big deal. In fact, it's almost fun. He took my sheet when he left, which means that I cannot stretch the two lists side by side and spend hours on an in-depth comparison. But that's not necessary because I remember every single thing I wrote. And Lucas's, it could be the mirror image of mine. What I want done to me, he wants to be the one doing it. Oh, I think. Oh! Suddenly, the kiss in the library makes lots of sense. I roll into my pillow, smile, and fall asleep that way. Chapter 24. The highlight of my Saturday morning practice, I asked Coach Seema's applause after my back 3.5 somersault tuck, one of my most difficult dives. This might be the best goddamn dive I've seen in my collegiate coaching career, he tells me from the deck while I'm still in the pool, wiping droplets from my eyes. I smile up at him. A burst of the pride I haven't let myself savor in months neutralizing the too cold water. Which is nice, Coach continues. Since you gotta make up for the line of zeros you'll get for your inward dives. Wow! I elbow myself out of the water. Can't believe I fell for it. Me neither, Vandy. Me neither. He scheduled individual corrections for today, which means that the twins arrive right as I'm leaving Avery. I wonder if Pen's turn will be after theirs, and then get a single text from her. Penelope, we need to talk. The period at the end of the sentence does not sound affable. I must have done something terribly wrong. And it could only be one thing, which happens to be several inches over 6 feet and rhyme with Buka's longfist. I stare at Pipsqueak's pic on my screensaver and forbid myself to spiral. Send me strength, Pip. Pen is sitting on the green despite the drought's grass outside the dining hall, eating a red apple. Her sunglasses make her unreadable, but the line of her mouth is somber. Hey. I try for a smile and plop down next to her, canting my face toward the sun. How are you? Vandy. She won't look at me, but her grip on the apple tightens. Her tone is not promising. I'm not sure how to say this without sounding like a total asshole. Shit. I know it's probably unfair of me, but I can't move on until I say my piece. She turns to me. And you owe it to me to listen. Lowers her sunglasses, stone-faced. Because she shakes her head, and my heart is so heavy it'll drag me underground, deep down to the center of the earth, where I'll deservedly burn, because Pen, whom I'm starting to consider a dear friend, is grinning. I told you so. I told you so. I told you so. I told you so. Who told you so? Me. Moi. Penelope fucking Diana fucking Ross, ladies and gentlemen and non-binary friends, that's who. She breaks into the most uncoordinated dance I've ever had the displeasure of witnessing.